Good morning. Good morning. It is what day? Sunday morning? Yeah. I have some things to share with you all this morning. And many of you right now are sleeping as usual. You wonder why I do things at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning because I want to. Now, I am going to present something to you that you will find interesting. So gather round, little ones, and put on your seatbelts. Now, I know that there's been a lot said about me. There's been a lot said about me, a lot said about my family. And I just had to come on here and let you know what the actual real truth is. So, again, gather round, little ones, because it's going to be a bumpy motherfucking ride. Now, I understand that when people put things in black and white or read something, they quite naturally want to believe it. But sometimes you have to know and see this in context. Now, I'm a former teacher years ago in my 40s, and I learned that conveying information so that it can be learned is difficult, but it is one skill set when that I have. And when I realize that most of the parties I'm responding to have underdeveloped minds for their chronological age, I decided that, hey, you know what? I got to talk to them like they are the childlike individuals that they are. And sometimes it's ignorance, but where I come from, we call it ignorant, just plain ignorant. And so I decided that, hey, you know what? False allegations. And so somebody says something. They said they wanted some receipts. Oh, no, not from me. They wanted receipts. Oh, yeah. And I put this response on pause until I could go to where my receipts and my archives are stored and go through the boxes and boxes and boxes of receipts. Now, QB had one piece of paper, one document. I've got hundreds of documents and thousands of pieces of paper. And so when you say receipts in this little algorithm, people think about um, who is it? S. Hutchinson. She gets her receipts. Read, she gets her receipts as well. But ain't nobody seeing the receipts that I can provide. I was trained to have receipts available. So, QB, you should be ashamed. You say, I should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. Because you said you hope I got triggered. That, young man, is a clear indicator of malicious intent. But just so you know, I'm not the one you wanted to trigger. Now, first of all, you said that this happened 7 years ago. I could give you the timestamp, but I'm not going to waste my time on that. You're wrong. It wasn't 7 years ago. How about 27 years ago? You combined 3 cases into one and then said it was 7 years ago. My son, who you decided to malign and lie on, was approximately 24 to 26 years old at the time. Now, I'm going to show you the receipts because I've labeled them as exhibits. And yeah, you'll see them in a minute. But first, let me set the stage for you, okay? Um, like I said, I'm a former teacher. And not only did you distort the court document that you read it without any sort of understanding of what you were reading. Comprehension is key, young man. For example, young man, the beginning of that document clearly, precisely states, we review in a light most favorable to the prosecution. The prosecution. Did you not understand that the prosecution and the court are arms of the state? And they work together? You didn't read that though, did you? So essentially, they regurgitated the position of the prosecution. Start there. And I have all of the documents. Now, let's get these cases because you combined 3 cases into one. And the first, with the cream, was never charged. The women were adults, not minors. The second case was the photographs, which he did not take by Babe. They were from the 1950s and 60s, before he was even born. But I'll get into that more succinctly later on. And the third case involved the document you were reading from. The law clerk included all of that as background, not as the actual case that was being appealed. Then you said he admitted something. That's a lie. See, that comes from your lack of understanding. If you don't have legal training, then you should not be reading to your followers legal documents. As you call them, your renegades. I call them reprobates because that's the way they behaved in that chat. And as an aside, one little thing. Did you know that all of that stuff in that chat, that the comments they made, that's considered cyberbullying. Do you know who they hold accountable for that? You, because you are supposed to monitor your chat. Guess you didn't know that either. But anyway, there was no admission. He was on probation. And he admitted through his attorney that, yes, he was convicted of a crime while on probation. He admitted that was true. Okay? So there was no admission. And, and QB, there was, it was a factual statement which had nothing to do with innocence or guilt. Standard probation procedure so that probation could be revoked. And there was no plea. You said I convinced him to take a plea in that case? I never, ever told my son to take a plea regarding anything. But guess what? You can't take a plea in a jury trial. Come on now. You know, what's going on in that head of yours? How are you going to, you're having a jury trial. You're going to take a plea in the middle of a jury trial? That's stupid. That's dumb. And I was incredulous when I heard that. You can look that word up. Ask somebody to help you spell it. Now, not only did you distort the court document you really read it without understanding. For example, you said, you implied that I had no receipts for what I was saying. These false allegations against me I'm not going to sit back and take that. Did you really think I was going to let that lay out there? That I was going to allow you to malign me and my character and my life with your uh, bullshit editorials? Oh, hell no. Was not going to happen. So, um, you falsely accuse me of being in a child porn ring? Are you serious? I guess you are. You had to do something. You couldn't help yourself but lie, right? Because you are a liar. And let me say it the way I grew up hearing it. Liar. Ebonics. You're a liar. You lie. And as far as, I'm going to first, though, address some of your reprobates. Okay? AKA renegades. And answer the questions that they ask in your chat, as well as the statements, the false statements which they wrote regarding me. For instance, Tweety. Tweety. This is, what did you say? Sit your old arse down. No, I'm not going to do that, Tweety. No, I don't have to sit down. You're not going to put me, I don't have a rocking chair. So, no. But then you said, she was there. I wasn't. I'll show you that in Exhibit A when I get to it. Miss Steph said, she knew. I didn't. And then QB said, our mother knows. She saw some things around the house and knew about it. You said that I covered it up and tried to cover it up, and I was lying to police. And then Justica said, she's lucky they didn't lock her ass up. For what, Justica? For what? Well, just an FYI for you people. Let's see, where was I? I'm still here. Got disconnected somehow. I don't know what happened. But again, I was never questioned by police. I was never a suspect. He didn't live with me. And Miss Valerie, you said that I should be held accountable. Excuse me? Accountable for what? You hope they sue me? Sue me for what? I guess you're assuming you live with me, right? Where's your son? Should he be held? Should you be held accountable? And Tweety, my getting laws changed had nothing to do with the court document which QB was editorializing. My son had already been convicted, and the law I had changed was regarding that. And changing the law was not retroactive. And by the way, Megan's law has never been changed. It was a law regarding protecting innocent people from who receive spam emails. Period. That's it. That's all. So, Miss Steph, it was not protection for my son. And then your other false allegation, QB, was that I only knew something about sex crimes. Another lie. I was formally trained, young man, and we were taught how to look at every crime. It was a requirement, and I excelled in research. And I graduated with honors at 50 years old. So you should be ashamed. All right. So let's unpack this. Let's move right along. Let's move right along. Let's see here. Where should I start? We're going to start with Exhibit A. Okay. Now, let me see. I have to figure out how to see under settings. I'm trying to. Okay, got it. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, wow. Okay. Can you see this? So, when you all say he lived with me, that was a damn lie. And makes everything you say look stupid and dumb. But for some reason, I have said this many times before, but people seem to feel that I was not telling the truth. I should be used to that as a Black woman in this country. But I thought my people would believe me when I told them the truth. So just take a good look at this, okay? And see. He lived here. I lived here. So, what did I see around my house, QB? Huh? How could I see what was in his house in my house? So, that is that one. That's the first one. And I really feel like a lot of you assume a lot of things. I don't know how other people live, but excuse me, most people whom I know, my friends, my family, my my son, my nephews, they get out and they get their own place. So maybe that's not how you all live. Maybe you have people living with you. I don't know. But my son didn't live with me. So you can red ball back and take a look at it again. But I thought I would make that clear because that's something you said about me. The awful things you said about me, the lies you said about me, such as I was looking for something on my computer and this sort of thing. No, not at all. Didn't happen. Yeah, she ran into some stuff in that house. No, because he didn't live with me, idiot. And that really pissed me off. The things you said about me, the awful, awful, disgusting things you said about me. And I'm not going to let you sit up and talk about me or my son and make up shit. Now, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Exhibit B. Where is Exhibit B? You see this? This is what I tried to tell you all along. Okay? It says, this is Tucson Police Department. This is the test they ran. And it says here, I conducted a blue light examination of, it's blanked out, the victim. Examination of the victim's neck, shoulders, shirt, and face, as well as a shirt that she brought with her, showed no positive reactions. Location number 2. I conducted a blue light examination of the above victim's hair. No positive reactions were observed. In other words, blue light is what you put on something in order to see whether or not there are bodily fluids on someone. And that goes for blood, semen, anything that comes out of your spit, whatever. There was nothing on her. And now, if it's a lie, I guess they told it, huh? Because you called me a liar for saying this in the past, that I was making stuff up. But no, I read this myself. So that shows me exactly how your mind is. And I really feel like when you see something like that and realize what they did to a Black man and how they did it, knowing good and damn well it was a lie. Yeah, he got railroaded. That's not something to kiki about. That's not something to joke about. And and they knew they were lying all the way through. So that document that you had that they put on there, all of this stuff was presented to the courts. But they were all playing the same tune on different pianos. And this is what you accuse somebody of and said has happened. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So you can imagine my outrage when I saw this. Now, I will tell you what I did do, because I am a mother who loves her son. And I knew my thoughts were subjective because I did not know some of these details and so on. And I paid people in other states, experts, to look at this stuff. And they said to me, well, this shows there was nothing there. You're absolutely right. There was nothing there. They could not, since they were in other states, they could not come forth as experts because they were not registered with the court or something like that as an expert. But they could tell me, and they did. So now let's go to Exhibit C. How you feeling now about your editorializing, QB, and all the rest of you people? Okay, Exhibit C. Oh, okay. This is part of what his attorney wrote for an motion. You see here it says page 3. Argument. Perjured testimony was submitted to the grand jury. Okay. Now, I'll show you what the rest of it, because that was at the bottom of the page. So I had to put it like that. Whether anybody likes it or not, I'm doing what needs to be done. I am not going to be maligned and placed in a false light by an idiot. Okay. At the top of the page, it says the lab report from the crime laboratory completed on the 7th day of June 2000 showed that there were no traces of semen on the victim's neck, shoulders, shirt, hair, and face, as well as the t-shirt that she had brought along with her on Tuesday, the 6th of June. However, on the 15th day of June 2000, Detective Wayne Martinez testified to the grand jury that Tuesday I had the t-shirt analyzed at the crime lab, and the t-shirt showed the presence of semen. By the time he testified before the grand jury on the 15th of June, he had already seen the crime lab report and knew that no presence of semen was detected on the girl. Yet he testified to the grand jury that the shirt tested positive. Sound like a railroad much? Sound like some bullshit to you? Sound like something to laugh at? I don't think so. This is Exhibit C, C2. Let's see here. Now, let me stop that one. And go to Exhibit D. And I won't be here much longer. Only have a few more. Let's see here. These are transcripts from the trial. And the attorney talks about the count. Count 2 is identical to count 1, except that the name of has been substituted for that of blah. On June 7th, 2000, a lab technician made a report as follows. Location 1, I conducted a blue light examination of the victim. Examination of the victim's neck, shoulders, shirt, and face, as well as a shirt she had brought with her. And this is supposed to be the same day it happened, by the way. Showed no positive reactions. Location number 2, I conducted a blue light examination of the victim's hair, No positive reactions were observed. On the same day, Detective Wayne Martinez went before a commissioner, went before Casey Stanford, and obtained a search warrant for the apartment of Tyrone. Before the grand jury, Detective Wayne Martinez, speaking about the statements of the alleged victims, testified as follows. And he went on to repeat his lies. Okay, let's get to the next one. Exhibit E. Let me stop this one. How's this for receipts? Okay, let's see, share screen again. Exhibit There is also the fact that Arizona law did not allow for the prosecution of hard drive possession and content until October 1999, after my son's computer was seized, searched, and he himself was indicted. But Tucson police departments, let me go to E2, because I want you to get this. I really want you to get this, because you really, the stuff you said was reprehensible, is really an understatement. It really is. Let's see. E2. Let's see. Okay. Oh, no, that's not E2. Sorry. This same one again. Let me find it. Sorry about this, but let's see. Here it is. I found it. I can't believe that people would say the things that you said about me and belittle me the way that you did. Now it says E2 here. Oh, here it is. This is the rest of it right here. Search results included deleted or erased hard drive images, as well as images contained within spam email. So, who's lying now? Huh? If it's any lie told, you told it. Saying that I was making it up and all this sort of stuff. This came out in the court documents. And yet you accuse me of covering something up? Let me tell you something. I was in school at the time. I was in school. And simultaneous with that, my mother was recovering from illnesses. And to have someone do this, and I'm looking at this, I'm having people look at it. I'm having one of my instructors who was in criminal law look at this. And here they are with this stuff. I've said this from the beginning. Why would I have to lie to you all? I tried to tell you all exactly what was found by the people who researched it and did everything else. Okay? It says it right there. Deleted or erased hard drive images, as well as images contained within spam email. But you wanted to laugh about that, QB. Y'all thought that was funny, that I had manufactured that somehow, and I made it up. and that I was running to the courthouse and I was trying to cover up for him. Seriously? So I'll say it again. I knew nothing about his website. I do know, I found out later. I met the models. They came and testified on his behalf. They were adult women from the ages of 25 to 35. And they wanted to make money, and they did. I didn't know about this stuff that people like to see. And I did my research. There's a whole section in Pornhub about this, that people like this or whatever. And they wanted to make the money for that. But you and 5 and everybody else want to accuse him of taking pictures of children, doing this to children, and basically saying, oh, well, how gross this is that he would do this to little children, Kwani. He did nothing to little children. He was in a business. He did what according to what his attorneys told me, he did. He handled it the way the law required. He got ID. He had them sign papers and so on. But when somebody shows up at your at the apartment with a fake ID, and they got he was in his early 20s. In his eyes, she could have been the age she said she was. But no, you say, I was involved. I did this. I did that. You're a liar. I did nothing to anyone. And then you said, oh, she allowed young minors to be assaulted. The fuck? That's a damn lie. And you know better. And I could go in and talk about something else, but you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to let that lay out there. Now, let's go to the next one. Let's see, what one was that? That was Exhibit E1. Let's go to Exhibit, because then you ask yourself, well, how did they say they found it? Okay, here we go. You all want to refer to an article where he said, my son said, it was not an article like that. He requested that interview because he knew that they had lied. Everybody had lied on him. Let's see here. Sure. Let's see. That's Exhibit F. Only got a couple more exhibits to go. And then you all can go and enjoy the rest of your day. Let's see. Exhibit F. And anybody who did not want to believe me, that's unfortunate. Okay, here we go. Are you looking at this? Is it on there? Okay. I don't know if I can make this larger or not, but I can tell you what it says. This is the search warrant invoice. By the way, they got a telephonic search warrant. They didn't have anything on it. They didn't have any paper or anything. They just took everything and then wrote it all down after they got back to the station. You see here where it says blue towel, number A5, blue face towel, and other towels, another towel down here, and more towels. Well, what he was doing with his models required towels being used. I can't put it in here, but they went into his laundry. They took his laundry basket and took all the towels out. Now, let's get this understood. How could they do that? Nora Rankin. Remember that name. You see these dates here? This time they couldn't find anything. She went and got the towels, okay, in July. After they said they couldn't find anything, they went and got the towels, okay? And let me show you what she did with them. Let's do this. Almost through. Almost finished, young man. You wanted receipts? You got them now, right? Yeah, you sure do. Let's see, which one is that? F is, oh yeah, okay. Let's see here. Okay, that's the one I think I showed you already. I'm going to take that off. I had to relearn how I used to do this with my jewelry presentations. And essentially, I'd forgotten how to do it because I wasn't doing it anymore. But I'm a quick study. Let's try G. What's on G? Yeah, G. Okay. All right. You see here, Tucson Police Department, property invoice, and 1MZ is the shirt and the stain, negative from item. Now you see here, they went to evidence. Here she is. She gets this on the same amount of time she got the towels in August. Okay? Now, I need to explain to you what I was told by the DNA expert. And he looked at all of that and he pointed out to me something very unusual. He says, what I don't understand is why this other case is in your son's DNA report. He says, you need to get this case number and find out what went on with this. And that's what I did. And you know what it was? It was a case where 2 Black men raped and murdered an 83-year-old woman. She had gotten their, their DNA. And because my son's DNA would not show straight African American, it would show Native American, okay, white, and African American. It wasn't enough African American in it, I guess. And she combined the swabs that she got from them in August or July, I forget when it was, but anyway, into his DNA report. It's in there. It's in there. And that's when she came back and testified she found a speck. Now, how's a speck going to be there when all the time before there was nothing anywhere? This is the anatomy of a railroad. And you know why? Because they didn't want to get sued. Coming to his door with guns and so on. The news said he took them from the mall to his apartment. And guess what else it showed? The test results. There was no spermatoza. Do you know what that is, young man? You should. You're a man. You should know what it is. Spermatoza is only present when a man ejaculates, period. Okay? There was none there. So, now what? All the things that they did, they knew they would get sued. And they closed ranks together against my son. And you want to laugh at it. And you want to ridicule me as a mother. I've been a very good mother. And I stand 10 toes down with my son. And when he's wrong, I correct him. And that is how I raised him. I raised him to tell me the truth, even if he was wrong. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? And so, let me show you how much further they went. Okay, well, this is the last exhibit. And then class will be dismissed, as will you, and the rest of you as well. That's exhibit H. This is his attorney after post-conviction, where it says here that he wanted him to have he wanted to use this attorney that my mother, essentially paid for. He was one of the best attorneys in the county. And the judge refused to allow him to represent my son. Now, it came out later, the relationship between Mr. Bloom and, because while we were waiting for this, Mr. Bloom had hired me because he was so impressed with my ability to research case law and present it. Attorneys don't usually do that. But anyway, and I got to know him, but I didn't know this. And it turns out he was the one who recommended this judge to the bench. He could have said he had a conflict from day one, but he thought he'd be allowed to represent him. And the judge refused. He was so full of himself, he refused. And that was that. Oh, but you say, this stuff can't happen in America. They kill us. They killed Black men in America for nothing. This, to them, was nothing. And so I basically came on here because of all the things you said about me, all the false allegations and casting aspersions in my direction, you and those reprobates in your chat, all the things you said about me, trying to include me somehow. And now you see, it was all a lie, even to the point that he didn't live with me. And yet you went on this tirade about me. Oh, you're an awful mother. You this and that. You said some despicable things to be a man. Period. To be a human being. Despicable things about me. And your chat was rah, 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 and amen, and you all the damn way. That's why I call them the reprobates. This is not something to laugh about. This is not something to try to trigger someone. Like I said you wanted to trigger me. And I screen recorded the whole thing. Both videos you made. And when you said you wanted to trigger, you hope I got triggered? No. That's the last thing you wanted, was for me to get triggered. But again, it does show malicious intent. And yet you say, we don't want you over here with us. And you say, ew, now, you know what you should do for lying? Apologize to your reprobates this time for lying to them. And say, hey, I got to slap myself down the stairs. I'm so sorry. Put some holy water on yourself. But the one thing I was not going to allow you to do was malign my character, because I have good character. I have a good reputation. And to say that I should be locked up and all this bullshit, no, it was not going to stand. I was not going to allow it to stand. But I put it on pause, like I said, because I do have a real life. Somebody suggested, do you have any hobbies? Hell yeah, I play chess. I do a whole lot of other stuff. I travel. I do a lot of things. I do have a real life. And so, little ones, class is over. You wanted receipts? You got them. But you will not get away with lying on me and trying to make it appear as if I am some sort of criminal. What did you call me? Uh, uh, a pervert? A co-pervert? I mean, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you and any of you to put that on me? And as far as my son, whatever he was doing with his models, they were grown. There is no little child. Now, as far as those photographs are concerned, I said I'd get into that a little later. Right now, let me get into that with you. They seized my son's computer in March of that year. In July of that year, they requested the court to do a search of that computer. And then in September, they put out an arrest warrant saying in September he uploaded. How could he upload something in September when he didn't have his computer? Oh, yeah. So basically, they decided in hindsight that, oh, well, he didn't have it. These were deleted files. These were spam. But you want to come for me and my son? Even though, you don't realize how many innocent Black people are in prison. I hope that you learned something. And the one thing, and I'm sorry for that break, but I don't know what's happening with my laptop. Something's going on with it. But I hope you learned from it. And I don't expect an apology, but I wanted to make sure that everybody see you for the idiot and the ignorant fool that you are, and that you would do something like this and say the things you say without any proof. So you say, you haven't showed us one receipt. Well, you got your receipts, baby boy. Now you have a great rest of your life.